extremely aggressive and willing to take risks become scaredy cats when they sit on a nonprofit board. They are actually, until they're really comfortable, they're more concerned with securing the long-term viability of the institution than they are at meeting mission. We had this conversation with it. No board member is ever really accused of not growing his nonprofit fast enough, but many of them will be embarrassed if anything dire happens to the financial wherewithal. So they're very averse to risk. So you get somebody like me come along, it makes for an interesting bedfellows. Yeah, there's not a lot of risk-taking in nonprofits.
Thank you.
Okay.
I stood in line because I wanted to ask a question. But my first question is, of all of us, how many of you enjoy cooking? Cooking. Look at all the hands. Me too, even though my wife cooks better than me. But the point is let's now go down the road a year into the market. And my question is, so we know from the evidence, a lot of people are into who have been in the food desert, use prepared foods, are used to fast foods, et cetera, et cetera. And so the question is, how do you get them to eat kale? You're going to have the kale, you know, and kale is my symbol for broccoli and all the other things. So the question I have is, suppose there's here's a typical community in a sense, not quite typical, it came because it's a food topic, but it seems to me that there is an opportunity for putting community groups together in another kind of volunteer way, which is to provide cooking lessons, cooking experiences, demo cooking right in the entry or in an aisle like Whole Foods does, etc., and freebie samples for them and the kids of tasty things that tempt them, the users of the market, to try new things that they don't ordinarily try, which is exactly what Whole Foods does, it seems to me right now, but does it at a different level. And I'm suggesting that that's another potential volunteer interaction that helps the educational side of the future of food. And I'm wondering what you think of that notion.
It's going to be a very interesting creative challenge. In fact, I know Sandy had to leave, but before she left the other night, we were brainstorming out on the porch. The seniors in this community know how to cook. The younger people in the community don't know how to cook.
Can I just tell the people who are leaving, sorry, I want to make sure. First of all, I want to thank Bill publicly while you're still here and give him a round of applause. Incredible job here well done, and he did a more amazing job back in the Philadelphia region, well done. And the other thing I want to remind people is that Vivi is going to be changing. In a sense, we're talking about hunger, but food is also celebration. And tomorrow we're going to celebrate food in the chapel with his service. So he wanted me to make you aware that it's not all down. There's going to be some ups, and here is an upcoming in order for us to celebrate together. So I wanted you to be aware of what he's doing. And remember, the speakers are going to be on a panel tomorrow morning, and we're going to be taking the gems of truth that each of you had. And this is just one or two that you really thought one that you thought was really important coming in the door, and one that you now think is important going out the door, so to speak. In other words, two thoughts per person would be enough. And any of the people who gave posters are also invited to be part of that process. And likewise, we're hoping to have, I would like to invite the clergy that are here, the ministers that are here, to be involved in that process of response as well to that, because I think we need to exchange ideas from those professional perspectives, and then see where we're going with regard to the rest of the things that I talked about earlier. So I wanted you to be aware of what's happening. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
I'd like to make sure.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting challenge, really not unlike the challenge of technology transfer or educational transfer and diffusion in third world countries. The problem functionally isn't that much different than getting people to try a new way of farming or whatever. You basically, get informants, in essence, who are respecting the community that can partner with you and go in and get convince first the opinion leaders and then diffuse it through the system. And Sandy and I were talking about this exactly that, is that one way, and there's probably no one single strategy. It's probably a collection of efforts because it's a big problem. But the one we were talking about was getting almost the idea of a nurse practitioner, but using lay practitioners who would be trained in the skills of mothering to send out and partner with pregnant women, and intercede with them early. Because at the time the women are pregnant is when they're most able to appreciate the value of and the nobility of being a mother and what being a parent means, and how important it is for them to take on that mantle of responsibility. And they're not going to believe me when I tell them. We're culturally divided apart, so the challenge is to build an empowered group of senior elders, in essence, from the community in which they're in, and partner them up and work that way. But that would mean that we, either Sandy or Philip Bundes, or both of us combined, would have to be training the core of senior elder practitioners, so to speak, to be able to be that strike force.
Terrific. Well, this is a really remarkable evening, and again, I just want to thank you so much for helping us to go from A to Z and back again to and have an incredible conference with you, including.
Well, thank you. I really am grateful for the opportunity to come and also to meet all. It's a great community. I've made friends.